We provide the context you need.
The Morning News with Gord, Gillies and Sue Deyell on 770 CHQR. Brought to you by CCI Wireless.
Had some excellent questions from you today, and we're looking for all the answers we can get. We had to say goodbye to Dr. Jamie Cox, who was with Sundial, and he gave us a perspective on someone who's been involved in the medicinal marijuana industry for a long time and now working with Sundial on what's about to happen. Some people saying, you know, you're normalizing this, you're laughing at making a joke about it. I don't think that's the case. I think we've laughed at some of the things we've talked about, certainly. We don't think it's a joke. And frankly, marijuana is now normal across the country now.
And it's going to be a fact of life now.
Yeah,
so educate yourself.
You know, I hear you on your opinion on that, but we're asking questions that we want answers for today too, because it is a different world. Merle Kuhn joins us from Spruce It Up Gardens, and he's the expert there. A couple of questions we had earlier on growing it. Mary was hoping that this is the end of grow ops because they are such a hazard. But if somebody was to try and decide, I want to do this on my own, is this going to be a risk to the house, insurance-wise, all these things? Do you know?
I think I would definitely educate myself again on that. I think if you plan on growing too many plants, if you're planning on doing a little grow up, absolutely it's hazardous to your house. You create a lot of humidity, and to get the plants to grow properly, like I said, you need a tent almost set up in your house, and with the proper carbon filters. I have friends, and I know we have medicinal people coming into the store, and the amount of money they talk about that they've spent setting up their thing is sort of $3,000 to $5,000, and
just for setup.
Yeah, and if the crop
for
failures,
4 plants you're allowed, right?
Yeah,
4 plants.
4 plants.
4
so
plants.
You can buy a lot of grams. So I think the average person that's looking to pick up a bit of weed or wants to have a couple of joints here and there, to set up the whole grow up in your basement, unless you looking for a hobby and you have some,
and you know what you're doing.
Yeah, and it's not as easy as, like, once you get it to the flower stage, like, you have to have pure darkness for 12 hours, pure light for 12 hours, and it's a certain light, the new LED grow lights. So it's not as easy, and before that you need 16 hours of light, so you have to have
a little complicated.
Yeah, to do it properly. Everyone can get a plant going and germinated and stuff like that, but to finish it off to where you're going to get some good weed and some good cannabis buds, it takes a little bit more.
Merle, thank you for being a part of our show today. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Go to Vancouver. You're good to have you here. Also joining us this morning is Shane Kuhn, is GM and retail rep for Calgary Tokyo Smoke. Good morning to you, Shane.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
What's this morning like for you? A shop that for I guess a year now in the Beltline has been selling drug paraphernalia. This Christmas?
Yeah, it's definitely very exciting for us. Currently at our store, we're still going to be operating as a coffee shop and an accessory hub, and just trying to give education to the customers that are coming in. We're still trying to focus on getting our retail license to actually dispense cannabis, but still very exciting. It's something we've been working really hard towards for the past year.
So talk to us about some of the products that you brought in. Why do we need to know what this stuff is, and how does it all work?
I think it's very important for a lot of people to know what a lot of the options that they can use to consume cannabis is. Until edibles and some of the oils and stuff are legally available in the next year, a lot of it right now is up to smoking and just using dried flower. And so a lot of people are worried about the health concerns that come with smoking and ingesting the plant material. So one of the examples of the products I bought is a vaporizer called the PAX 3. That doesn't burn any plant material. There's no combustion on it, so it's quite a bit healthier for your lungs and just to ingest it that way.
Okay.
When you talk about educating people, what are you talking about?
So the higher learning booklets, the viewers can't see it here, but we offer free higher learning booklets to all of our customers that come in store. Gives you a little brief intro on Tokyo Smoke as a brand, and then a very a basic intro on cannabis and the difference between THC and CBD and some of the cannabinoids, how they can affect you, and just how to use that in daily life. And then we also do higher learning events every, I'd say, month or so at the store. We've done 8 since we've been open, and those focus on everything from an introduction to cannabis to joint rolling classes. We did a legalization class where we just went over all the things that Calgarians would need to know leading up to legalization.
For your people, what are you hearing? Are they more recreational users, or are there a lot of people coming in to get different things for medicinal?
That's actually really interesting. When we first opened up, obviously Calgary I find is a bit conservative. There was mostly medicinal users coming in, looking at our products. And then as we stayed open for more and more months, we started to notice more people coming in that were on the recreational side, that were coming in just looking for advice or education, or said that maybe like someone had gifted them some cannabis, or they had just signed up and gotten their legal medical card. And so they would come in looking for, like, basically, how do I use this? How do I get started?
Gifted them cannabis. I like that.
Well, what's the worst thing, though, kidding aside, that somebody can do if they're saying, you know what, I might want to try this now? What's the worst thing they can do as they go down that road?
I think the worst thing someone could do just getting into it is not sticking with what we use as our motto at Tokyo Smoke is low and slow. Knowing your proper dosage to get started. I'm sure everyone's got a horror story of smoking too much cannabis and you get the paranoia and the anxiety and all the fear that comes with that. You want to start off slow so you can have like a nice introduction into the plant and not really, I guess, ruin your first experience with it. You just want to enjoy the first time using it.
All right. We'll opening this up for you. If you have a question as well, 403-974-8255. We'd like to get an answer. It's 817.
In the morning, I smoke 2 joints at night.
8:19 on your Wednesday morning, and Shane Kuhn joins us, GM and retail rep for Calgary Tokyo Smoke. And Shane, we brought you in sort of as our expert on ways that you can participate in marijuana or any other of the associated products that are now going to be legal for us. So we wanted to talk to you about, people are asking questions, how can you use? So what other products are there? And what do they do?
So right now there's a lot of options out there. If you're just using dried cannabis, there's a lot of pipes. You can do the traditional joint rolling. There's vaporizers that are a little bit newer to the market and I think people are just still learning about. And then everything from bongs to bubblers. There's a lot of different options out there.
What's a bong? What's a bubbler?
What does the bong do? What's a bubbler?
So a bong is basically a large pipe with a water vessel at the bottom that filters out some of the smoke and helps it from being so, I guess, harsh on the lungs. It's a pretty traditional cannabis user paraphernalia, a piece of paraphernalia. And then a bubbler as well is just a smaller version of that. It basically has a small percolator at the bottom. Again, it filters out a lot of the smoke using water.
Do you have to have that stink and the smell and all that with marijuana?
If you are using a pipe or a bubbler or like a bong, it's going to be pretty hard to get around that. Some of the other alternatives are using vaporizers, something that's not going to be burning a lot of the plant material itself. Vaporizers have very little vapor actually coming out of it, and so you're not going to have as much smell.
So anytime you burn, you're going to get the smell.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a bong I have in my hand.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's, let's just say there's nothing in it but water. So it's got the bowl at the bottom and it's full of water. So what do you do?
So you would put it to your lips and you would inhale, you'd hear the bubbling noise, and you'd do it with the bong that we have here, the top part actually. Yeah.
I do what up there?
Yeah, so the top
I think
part
you just
there,
did
the
a shooter.
stem.
Did I? See, I thought it was tequila. You blow, you what?
So at the stem there, you would put your lips on it and you would inhale, and you would hear a bubbling noise. There we go.
No, there's nothing in there for the record.
It's water.
For the record, there's water in there. But so where would the smoke be? Like somebody would put...
So the smoke would fill up in the chamber there. With the bong that we have there, it's a Summerland bong, so it is made of ceramic. You can't see through it, unfortunately. You would wait until you'd start to feel a little bit of the smoke in your cheeks and going down your lungs, and then you would actually remove the bowl, and then it would force all the air to rush through, and then it would go into your lungs.
A whole lot of work, and Andrea and Dave are howling hysterically at me for inhaling through the wrong end.
Can you get quickly high from secondhand smoke?
That's something that's still highly debated and I think is up in the air. I think if somebody is just walking on the street in front of you and they're consuming or smoking a joint and you happen to walk through a cloud, it's similar to walking through cigarette smoke. You're not going to get that secondhand nicotine high unless you're very, very close or in direct contact with someone. If you're stuck in a vehicle with someone or the doors or the windows and doors are up there and obviously someone is consuming cannabis, I think then it is possible, but I'm not a doctor on that. There is still a lot of debate.
Just out of interest. 822.
I know it's early, guys.
A quick final comment to you, Shane. We appreciate you coming in today to talk a little bit about what everybody's kind of wondering. Got some good questions in for this. A vaporizer. So there's all kinds of different things out there. If somebody is putting this on their radar, your bottom line, though, is you got to be careful and do your homework.
Absolutely, yes.
All right. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Country